Okay, the next project on the bench. Another, as you can see, flip her over, All-American 5. Another classic one. Model X 8X541. Very common one. Not sure if this is a Canadian one or an American made one. It's hard to say. But it's been mucked up nicely over the years. A lot heavier than the other ones. This one might actually have a transformer in it. Of course, people have tried to keep it together. Of course, the power cord is decaying very nicely. And it's a standard... it's got a UL alignment on it. It's not one side wider than the other. Yeah, definitely. That's the first thing to get chopped. So we'll get rid of that. Put that in the trash. The schematic, of course, is here. Very easy to get the schematic on this one. Let's open her up and see what's inside for the first time. Hopefully the antenna is intact. It's been mucked with a bit. Someone's delaminated the antenna a little bit. I'm going to snip those off so I don't do any more damage. Looks alright. Typical dirty. It's much different than the other one. Don't have a list of the tube complement on it though. Let's see if it matches up to the schematic. They all look like original tubes. Rectifier. Dirty. One screw to take it apart, one screw to pull it out. Not too bad. Let's take her out of the chassis, shall we? Let's see, 1, 2. Dust bunny.
1, 2, 1, 2.
There we go. Put that to the side. Clean up later. Alright, first look at the guts. Oh, all original. Ooh, lots of waxies. Yeah. Very similar to the other one, so no one's ever been in there. And where's my little pokey stick? Okay, zoom in. Okay, so dog bone capacitor, IF coil, oscillating coil, 1, 2, I don't see any micas, ceramic caps, okay, I don't think I see that, there's one mica there, no sign of burning. One big electrolytic, 50 and 30 microfarads. Yeah, definitely no good. Yeah, speaker cone's in really nice shape. Bulb looks, pilot light seems to be okay. And everything else looks good. You can put Put a fuse right in there. But again, time to recap it. None of those caps will be any good. The only one that might be good is this one. And I bet you dollars, credits to Navy Beans, that is a pressed paper, not a mica, like the other one. Let's see, so this one, the power cable goes in there, goes right to there, on a main clip there, underneath there, again. Wires look okay, it's a lot better than the last one. Yeah, so the wiring is good. It's not brittle or falling apart, which is great. Tubes all look okay. Saders need to be cleaned off, of course. Needs a good vacuuming. I'll put that closed for now. But everything else looks okay. So I spent a goodly amount of time going over the schematic, doing a layout diagram, blah blah blah, taking the resistor codes, got a couple versions of that, cleaner one and a dirtier one, a couple of neat anomalies. Shut up, you. You see, zoom in a little here. That I have to replace. That is C24.001 is this cap over here, which goes to ground, right there. Zoom in a little closer. Right. So that cap there, C21, is this one that goes over to this on one. But this resistor, 220K one, is way over here. It goes to there. These are funny connectors. That's because it uses these metal tubes. It's glass on the inside, metal on the outside. So the metal here, here and here, connects to pin 1. So if I go a continuity test and touch the outside metal and then touch pin 1, continuity. No continuity anywhere else. And that's to cut down on interference, basically, to cut out and hum, right? Most of it's RF interference, especially for the American market, because a lot of their radio stations, their stations get very crowded at one time. Doesn't much matter today. And on the actual pins, you can see that that 220K goes to here. It also goes to this little tab here, which is connected to that sort of shield thingy, which is ground. And this one over here goes right to that same shield thingy, which is ground. And you have to watch out for that when you're doing that, because that's not a pin, that's a ground. That's the only real anomaly that I found. Everything else seems to be stock, which is good. I'm going to start working on it tonight. Of course, start at the power supply, swap out the new cord, put in the safety cap, and goes down there, and get this section done tonight. And I forgot to put the damn thing on. Ah, biker. Buggered me backwards. Jiminy Cricket, as they say. Jiminy Cricket. Oh well. At least you see me make my mistakes.
Warning, warning, warning.
I'm big enough to admit I can make mistakes. Mostly just little ones like that. And you get guys like Electro Boom that do it for a living, but they don't make mistakes. He does everything deliberately, very carefully, so he doesn't hurt himself. So he's more a showman than he is an educator. But I'm ratty. Don't much like his channel. Alright, so I'm about ready to start up with the first power up because I went through and I ohmed out everything. Everything seems to be connected up. I went back to the schematic. I didn't misconnect anything. Double checked all my connections. And a good thing to do before you do that, just give it a good shake to make sure you didn't drop anything into the chassis, a little piece of wire or something that could short something. Little hum. At least we're getting something out of it.
And now for something completely different.
So one of the really fun things about this hobby is you never know what you're going to run into. Last night I spent about an hour, 45 minutes just playing around trying to get up some sort of system to hook this back in. The old ones, they had these clips. They're basically unobtainium. I have no idea what they look like. I've looked online, I kind of found one, but still don't know how they look like, so I'm not going to be able to bend one. But this evening, I was rooting through here, cleaning up and doing a little spraying, and look what is right there. Stuck to the magnet. One of the original clips. Ha! How about that? Well, if I got one, I can create other ones, or at least I can go down to the hardware store. A really big hardware store in the city has all these sort of fasteners in it. I might be able to find one that's close to it. So, that was a piece of luck. So I'm just going to attempt an alignment on this beastly thing. First part is to put the solder fully open, all the way over on the 1600 dial. I have my signal generator up and running. I want to inject a signal through a cap onto the grid of the 12X A7. So that should make some noise. Let's see if we hear anything. I'm getting something. Let me adjust. I think that's aligned. So let me jump in here with a few quick words about the alignment. I first thought it was one of the easier ones I ever did. But as we'll see a little later on, something went awry. Good. Well, I'm happy with that. That was fairly painless. Okay. Now, you might notice this piece of cardboard right here. What a lot of people forget to put back in is this piece of cardboard It's supposed to separate these two wires, because they do cross, they'll get that horrible, horrible drilling noise that you hear when you first got into it. It's also important that this wire goes on that side through here.
Heartaches, heartaches. My loving you meant only heartaches. Your kiss was such a sacred.
Shouldn't matter if it's like that. Anyway, let's give her a test. Plug her in.
Within 6 weeks, and ship initial batches within 100 days. The system is working as it's supposed to. There is ongoing evaluation, monitoring. Oh, the applications are going to occur. This is not going to be surprising. And machinery that is in place, some provisional vaccines if required, already exist. Production won't be slow as it was at the beginning because it's ramping up. We have ramped up vaccines.
So those obnoxious sounds in the radio world are usually called screech and or howl. Sometimes you can get a little ghosty in there where it's a very odd sort of wooing sound. Great if you're doing special effects for silly old B movies in the 1950s, but not good if you want to have a radio that someone wants to use. As you can tell in the video playing in the background, I figured it must have been some sort of alignment issue. So I undid everything and tried to do another alignment all over again. Fortunately, the day I started doing this was also the night of my local radio club's meeting. So I packed this up when I went off to my meeting, and I figured I might as well ask the question. So I took the video with me and played it for some of the old guys at the club, and they immediately told me what it was. This sound was very common in old regenerative radios because they were fully capacitance-based. When you get into a super heterodyne radio like this one, this sound usually only comes from one source, and that's the tuning capacitor. It's either bent or touching, or it's shorting out the ground somehow. Normally, this can be fixed by just adding a little bit of oil to the bearings. And so I did that when I got home.
Just doing the oiling with good old Hooper's number 9. Gotta love Hooper's number 9. Just gotta get a little in the right spot down in here. And that's all it needs, really. Great thing about Hooper's is that it doesn't destroy grease, but it makes it nice and smooth. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
One other thing the guys at the radio club told me about when getting this screech or howl or the whale sound is to test the radio in its box.
Hey, let's put her back in the box.
To me, I can't believe it's just a burning memory. Heartaches, heartaches.
And again, although I guess it's Hanukkah time, so I hope you have happy Hanukkah. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for calling. Have a good day. You too. Bye-bye now.
Notice the tone is a little more bassy than you would normally get.
Working. You're listening to somebody else call. Back in a couple of minutes.
That is because it's got the golden voice on it.
Like the title says, that's a wrap. This turned out to be a fairly easy operation, just a simple recap. I did learn something. When you hear this,
Because it's ramping up. We have ramped up.
it's time to oil your Seder. So goodbye for now, and we'll see you in the next video. Oh yeah, and if you like the music, don't forget to tip the band.
What does it matter how my heart